Hello, welcome to the workshop, Plymouth Marjon's state-of-the-art TV and radio studios here on BBC South West Campus for a very special edition of Raiders TV. Now, some of you might have guessed after this week's exciting player announcements that there will be more news to come, and you're not going to be disappointed. To keep the suspense going just that little bit longer, we've put together a quick video to whet your appetite. Any ideas yet? Well, to reveal all, I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Raiders directors Richard Mollard and Ross Mackenzie. Thanks very much for both of you for coming in. What's going on, Rich?
Well, we're here today to announce that we have brought on board a new investment partner. It's an extremely exciting point in the Plymouth Raiders history. The partner is called BAU Global, or BAU Global. They're a worldwide educational organisation based in Turkey. They are coming on board as a 60% owner of the club. Ross and I will continue in our current positions, but essentially it's fantastic news. It means that we can really drive forward the club and hopefully take ourselves to the next level.
Why Plymouth? How did this happen?
Something of a chance encounter around late October. BAU Global have had, through their UK-based arm, Marine Learning Associates, a healthy and very strong relationship with the University of Plymouth for a number of years, which we weren't aware of. Given Plymouth's global reputation as a provider of learning for oceanography, marine biology, BAU Global have a very strong presence in being able to offer, I think, somewhere in the region of 350,000 students globally at different universities, and a proportion of those are studying here in Plymouth. They were being given a tour of Marjon University. They happened to see Coach PJ and the team going through their paces one morning. It piqued their interest, as we've later found out they're huge basketball fans. Those conversations evolved into discussion with Richard and I about how they could partner and team up with us. It opens the door to some pretty exciting developments. So here we are, being able to announce this going forward.
Sounds great. Before we go much further, let's take a closer look at the Raiders' new partners.
A future beyond dreams. An education beyond borders. BAU Global. From the North America to Asia, from Europe to Africa, 4 continents within reach, designing the future with its global educational network. Bringing the global educational trends together with thousands of students from different countries in 8 universities, 16 liaison offices, 4 language schools, 1 career college, and in 9 countries. In its network of universities in Istanbul, Berlin, Washington DC, Batumi, Cyprus, Plymouth, Vietnam and China, students are shaping the vision of the future through intercultural dialogue with many available programs. Students studying in language schools located in Washington DC, Toronto, Berlin and Plymouth have the opportunity to experience local city life, in addition to gaining multicultural vision by integrating with students from around the world. With hundreds of undergraduate, postgraduate and doctorate programs, individuals that create universal values are raised in BAU Global universities. With the experiences they get, students all over the globe are privileged for not only having a good academic life, but also for being a world citizen. Today, BAU Global reaches to 124 countries of the world, and by educating hundreds of thousands of different students, it is having a voice in shaping and developing the world. With BAU Global, students create the future of their dreams with unlimited educational resources while exploring the world. BAU Global. Education beyond borders.
Well, hopefully that will have gone some way to giving you a proper introduction to BAU. Rich, if we can go back to you. It's been quite tough since you guys took over, hasn't it? I know you've had to volunteer for the last couple of years. What's this going to mean for you?
Well, having a stronger partner to work alongside us gives us extra confidence. As you said, the last couple of years we've been faced with all sorts of issues that we could never have dreamed possible, really. So we've sort of fought the fight, haven't we? And there's been a lot of fun times. There's been a lot of stressful times as well. So I think for me personally, it's being able to sort of look away from the smaller parts of the business and try and focus on the larger future of the club. Obviously, if we're competing for championships and winning games, and then the buzz around the club, more people are going to be interested, and hopefully that will have a great effect on all the work we've been doing at grassroots level here in the city, where we've grown the programme, or nearly trebled the programme, in fact, over the last 3 years. So, yeah, it's just very exciting for us. We just can't wait, really, to sort of get going.
What changes will there be, Ross?
I don't think day to day there's going to be an awful lot of change. I think what the fans will experience, and we talk a lot about the fan experience because I think we do it better than anybody else in the country when it comes to basketball, is we're going to be able to hopefully start competing for trophies in a way maybe we haven't been able to do in the last couple of years. If you look at the last several years, of course, we've made finals. We haven't been able to bring too much silverware to Plymouth. So we want to be knocking on the door. I think this is going to take us one step closer to be able to do that. So day to day, it's very much business as usual. BAU, our partners, very much want to have us continue to run the business. We're both local people. We're both heavily invested in Plymouth Raiders and have really long established relationships with this club. And I think they're buying into that as much as the fans and everything else. So really, I think day to day, we continue as we are, but with the added bonus of being super competitive on the court.
That sounds great. How involved will they be, Rich?
We are having 3 board members join us, which is fantastic. A lot more experience for us on the board. But as we've said, they are not only massive fans of basketball, they actually own a Turkish Super League team as well, Başakşehir College. So we are looking to integrate what we do here in Plymouth with what they do in Başakşehir, and very much look to learn and how we can cooperate with. There's possibilities of us working as a feeder team into that Super League in Turkey. So the involvement will come from a basketball side, more from their organisation at a Başakşehir College team, I think, than BAU themselves. But to have the added experience that they bring, their business is education. We've spent the last 3 years building up our educational partnerships. So from that point of view as well, that will really bring some added clout and some added assistance to us.
So it's all good? No bad side to this?
I don't think there's any downside to this. Richard and I discussed this at the outset, and we pretty much drew up a list of pros and cons, and I think we've pretty much struggled to see the cons and only the upside to this. It's fantastic for us as an organisation. It's fantastic for the fans because as a basketball team, we've had our fair share. Probably like most clubs in UK basketball, it's a sport which is really on the up at the moment. And really, we want to be really at the top of that. And there's some amazing things happening in UK basketball right now, and we want to be leading that. And I think with this partnership, I think that's going to allow us to do that.
And I think just to add, we've done a lot of due diligence, as you'd imagine, on this kind of investment. And I think what we've been so pleased to see is that BAU are very much like us, just a family organisation. Everybody involved at the top is somehow related, which is great. So we're essentially joining 2 family organisations together with one shared passion for basketball.
And is this going to completely change basketball in Plymouth?
We have a huge following, as much as any BBL team in the country. As Richard mentioned, there's some fantastic initiatives going on around the business and the club in the community now to bring more people to the game. We're already seeing numbers, spectator numbers, with the second best viewed sport for match day behind Plymouth Argyle now. So, you know, people are really, and they have over the last few years got massively behind basketball. You know, we are one of only 2 Premier League sports teams in the whole of the Southwest behind the Exeter Chiefs, and we don't do a good enough job sometimes of selling that. People are slowly cottoning on to the fact that Plymouth has something pretty special here. So our job is to keep pushing that, I think, with a stronger team, pushing for trophies. What's not to get excited about?
Brilliant. Okay, guys, thanks very, very much indeed. We're going to be joined shortly by the Raiders team captain, Josh Wiltshire, and new arrival, Will Neighbour, and get a bit of a player's reaction to the news. But first, let's cross over to our Marjon roving reporter, Jack Guthrie, who's caught up with the Raiders head coach, Paul James.
Thank you for joining us, Paul. Obviously, this is some absolutely massive news, probably the biggest news that the club's ever had in its history. As the head coach of the club, what does this move from BAU mean for you?
Well, I think it's just a fantastic opportunity now, and it's funny how these things actually come about and happen. And just by chance that they were here on a visit at Marjon University, mentioned that they liked basketball. We were training at the time, so they came down, and I spent a bit of time with them, and business cards were exchanged. Give me a call the next day, and so I did, and it kind of snowballed from there, from being something whereby maybe want to put a name on a shirt to naming rights to actually want to be a part of ownership of the club. And at that point you kind of hand it over to the directors, Richard Mollard and Ross McKenzie, and basically it's on the plate for them to get the deal done. So to now finally have it done, it's great news for us. I think over the season we've been treading water a bit, because this deal's always been in the background since September the 23rd, 24th. It's kind of been around and in the air, so we didn't know where to stick or twist. But no, I think it's fantastic news. We've got some people coming in who love their basketball, and they want to help us move forward and win things, just like Richard and Ross do as well. So it's really fantastic news for the club.
And this is a move that could clearly help to evolve the club and help the club move on. From a basketball standpoint, how much can we potentially see the improvement of the team in the next couple of seasons?
Well, I think it's going to improve vastly. I think right now, actually, we've got a team who are really solid, and you can see that prior to Matt and Ryan coming in, we started to play some really good basketball as well. The fact we're able to get Matt and Ryan is an effect of basically them coming on board with us, so we're able to sort of attract quality players like that and afford them. So I think over the years to come, we're going to see some really solid things happening, and there's high expectations and high hopes for this club right now, and hopefully we can put the Plymouth Raiders where I think they should be, based on the fantastic fans they have and the fantastic sponsors they have, and being one of the top clubs in the country.
Paul, obviously very excited there about what this new partnership means. Well, I'm joined now by the Raiders captain, Josh Wiltshire, and one of the new arrivals, Will Neighbour. Josh, if I could start with you, what does this mean to you?
It's big for us. I mean, as a playing group, we get to hopefully supplement what we've got with some really high talented players. As a group, we want to be successful and sort of compete for silverware going forward, so hopefully this allows us to do that.
Are you anticipating a lot of changes to the team?
I don't know. We've got a pretty good group. I think we're quite confident with how we're going after the last couple of games. So any additions are going to be welcome, but if not, we'll just keep going as is.
This is kind of what dreams are made of, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's exciting for Plymouth basketball. I've played here a while now, so it's going to be good to have the pavilions packed out and have some excitement come back a little bit to Plymouth basketball.
And where do you see the Raiders going?
For now, I think short term we want to try and push for that playoff berth. Obviously, when you get there, anything can happen. So short term's getting to the playoffs and then showing everyone that we're good enough.
Well, welcome back to Plymouth. Of course, you were here a couple of years ago. What's it like to be back in the green and playing at the Pavilions?
It's good. Pavilion is one of the best places to play in the BBL, and happy with the coach and my teammates, and obviously just people outside of the basketball around Plymouth. It's a great environment to be around. The
Raiders have recorded a couple of wins since your return. Is that all down to you?
All down to me? No, I wouldn't say it's all down to me. Obviously Josh is back now, and Hassan's back on the court, and I think the guys had a lot of pieces, and I just sort of helped bring it all together. with a bit of experience.
And what do you make of this news of the new investment?
I think it's amazing. I think the sky is the limit now. I think it's something that the Raiders have been working towards to getting something like this, but now it's actually here. I think everyone's very excited to see where it could go.
Does that mean you're going to be hanging around?
If they want me around, I'll be around. It's possible, so we'll see.
Well, chaps, thanks very much indeed, and really good luck at the weekend. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as Rich mentioned earlier, BAU Global are headed up by Enver Yücel, who will be at the games in Plymouth on Sunday. And he's taken the time to send a little message to the Raiders fans. Take a look at this.
Spora desteğimiz devam ediyor. Sadece Türkiye'de değil, dünyanın çeşitli noktalarındaki eğitim kurumlarımızla ve onların öğrencileriyle spora destek devam. Son olarak çok kısa sürede Plymouth'ta Plymouth Raiders takımına yatırım yapmamız, basketbolu İngiltere'de de daha güzel, daha iyi yerlere getirebilmek adına ve altyapıdan başlayarak daha güçlü bir İngiltere Basketbol Ligi'nin yeni bir nefes, yeni bir kan olması durumunda mutlu olacağımızı düşünüyorum. Plymouth'ta MLA kalıcımızın varlığı, merkezinin orada oluşu, tabii ki öğrencileriyle, gençleriyle o bölgenin iyi bir takım olmak istiyoruz. Plymouth şehri bir liman kenti olan bu şehir, Liverpool nasıl futbolda dünya çapında çok önemliyse, basketbolda da Plymouth Raiders'ın çok iyi olacağına inanıyorum.
Now, we couldn't finish today without hearing from one of the Raiders' new board members. So from her offices in London, here's Dr. Başak Akdemir.
We are delighted. It's an opportunity to promote the sport that's so close to our heart and to invest in the city of Plymouth. We want to integrate sports to everybody's lives of all ages and abilities, and we want to integrate education into sports, and of course we want Plymouth Raiders to be the best team in the country.
Thanks very much to Dr. Başak Akdemir, and thanks also to the Mahjong team here at the workshop, especially Rebecca Hocking, Jack Guthrie and Mike Baker. Well, that's it from me and Raiders TV. Best of luck to the team this weekend. And another little bit of news for you. If you're a fan who's been lucky enough to get a ticket for Sunday's game, you're in for another treat as the club wants to turn the arena green. So everyone in attendance will be receiving a free Raiders t-shirt to mark this special occasion. I'll say goodbye. Rich and Ross, like to say goodbye?
Goodbye.